I originally grew up in a rather religious household. My mother forbade my siblings and I from playing Dungeons & Dragons, Magic the Gathering, and anything else the media tended to portray as demonic or endorsing witchcraft. As such, I grew up a stranger to role-playing games in the first decade of my life. Being an avid gamer in my childhood, I subscribed to Nintendo Power magazine prior to the release of issue 44. 10 months later, when Secret of Mana was on the cover of issue 54, I was enthralled. I spent more money renting this game than any other, until I finally purchased it a couple of months later. Never before had I witnessed a game with such a developed storyline. Similar to The Legend of Zelda, it had an exciting real-time action-adventure combat system, yet it included a deep plot, the ability to use magic, no longer forcing me to rely on items, a leveling system, and most importantly, the ability for my friends and I to embark on the adventure together simultaneously. From a design perspective, the action-adventure genre was still relatively undeveloped in 1993. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past had been released slightly under a year and a half prior to the release of Secret of Mana, and it had set the standard. Squaresoft, the developer, took the precedent created by the Zelda series and expanded upon it, adding a few elements from their Final Fantasy series. By adding a complex combat system that was easy to master, the role-playing aspects of an expansive and intriguing storyline, characters you would care for, and frequently providing players with gratification through new armor, weapon upgrades, and character leveling, in addition to the milestone achievements that the mainstream audience was used to, players were engaged during the entire 40-hour playtime. Lastly, Secret of Mana was one of the first games to allow cooperative play on an action RPG, with up to 3 players utilizing the Super Nintendo's multi-tap add-on. This added a social aspect to the game, turning the game into a focal point for groups of friends who were all gamers.